More yummy carpet water.
Hello there, and in this video we are basically, well, we're ignoring what we should be doing to this car at the moment, which is sorting out the dodgy wheel bearing on the near side and sorting out the cam belt. I've had a little bit of a play today to do some investigating, but particularly the wheel bearing I think is about to get sourced out to be done elsewhere. Anyway, I'm rambling. The purpose of today's video instead is to have a play with a carpet cleaner and try and sort out this car's absolutely disgusting interior. Now, I'm ashamed to admit that I've actually had this for over a year and I've never used it properly in anger. So anyway, today it's a nice sunny day. Hopefully that means the carpets are going to dry out reasonably quick. We're going to have a play with it and see what sort of results we get. I suppose we'll start off by just giving you a demonstration of how grim the current carpets are. So they are fairly fairly mucky. It's probably be the tailgate I concentrate with today, because I don't know how long it's going to take me to get this cleaned up, but yeah, it's all sorts of different shades of colour and stuff in here, which it isn't great, to be honest with you. And then well, things go from bad to worse when you look at the carpets in the back as well. They're kind of sort of quite browny and grim and not very nice. Now, the best way to do this, to be honest with you, would probably be to pull the seats out, and that was my original plan when I bought the carpet cleaner. However, this car isn't actually staying with me in the long term now, so what I want to do is just get it cleaned up a bit so that it's a bit nicer for whoever has it next. I mean, the driver's footwell on any car is awful. It's not helped, by the way, that I don't have any floor mats. I will probably buy some inexpensive ones just to try and protect the inside of this car afterwards. But anyway, now I've shown you the state of the carpets, let me show you what it is that I bought bloody ages ago that I've not yet played with, that we're going to use to try and improve this rather grim mess. And here it is. It's a Bissell Spot Clean Pro. I got this, I think, I could be wrong, but I think this is the same one that Lewis and Leanne at Whiteland Restorations used when they were doing the door cards on their Volvo 240. Now, there is a bit of Bissell detergent in there, but what I'm probably going to do, I did actually do an extensive interior clean-up on the Volvo V70 that I recently sold, and I did that with my Vax, but I've got a load of that detergent left over and it was very, very effective. So rather than using the Bissell supplied stuff, I'm going to chuck the stuff in that I used before. This is the cleaner that I'm going to be using, which again I think I bought off Amazon years ago. Not sponsored, just something I used and seemed to work quite nicely. Okay, so I've just topped it up. I've probably used more solution than I should have done. I think everybody does that. Whoever washes a car and uses the recommended number of catfuls in a car shampoo, you just don't, do you? So right, we're gonna have a play and we'll see what kind of colour this comes out. Now, to memory, this is quite loud, so it could well be that some of this winds up becoming time-lapse eventually, because it will probably get a little bit annoying. I think that's starting to make a bit of a difference. I can definitely see a colour change in the areas between where I have and haven't started. I've got to say though, that is incredibly noisy, so I think I'm certainly not going to continue doing this in real time. I'm going to throw some noise cancelling headphones on, put this on a time lapse, and we're going to start off, I think, just by focusing on this panel and seeing how good we can get it, and then we'll move through the car as we go. But yeah, my ears are absolutely ringing. I'll put on screen how many decibels this is, but to be honest with you, I think if you're working with this for a long time, you'd want some ear protection on. So yeah, I'm going to go and get the bigger head on it, and then we'll crack on and we'll do a bit more.
Okay, so I've just cut to the mobile quickly here, save me interrupting the time-lapse setup. But yeah, I mean, I've used a fair bit already. I mean, I've probably used nearly half of that tank trying to get this little area done, and it's unquestionably doing something, because you can see that dirty water down there, but it isn't lifting these brown patches very well. Now that could just be that this is so horrible and in ground that there's nothing I can do with it, but I don't think this agitation brush, the detergent and the suction alone are going to be enough to get this looking decent. So rather than keep emptying this out again and again and again, what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to go and grab a bit of the kit that I originally used when I did the V70's really dirty cargo area, which was some brushes, and I've also got a spray, like a pump sprayer filled with this same detergent. So I'm actually going to give that a spray down, whiz over it with the drill very briefly to see if it can agitate some of these dirt patches up, and then we'll have another crack with this and just see if it fetches up any more. Okay, so this is after a pass with the brushes. I do think, to be honest with you, we are in the category of diminishing returns now on this. I mean, like I say, it's definitely pulling some quite grim looking water out of that carpet, but I think there's some stuff really ingrained in this that's either going to need a much more concentrated cleaner, or yeah, I think for me, what I would do if I was going to keep this car long term, to be honest with you, is I'd probably just get an inexpensive cover to cover this boot anyway. I'll keep cracking at it. We'll see if we can bring about some sort of improvement in this, but I'm certainly, based on how stubborn that patch is there and those darker areas are there, I'm not expecting miracles with this. Obviously it'll look potentially different when it dries as well, and we'll probably get a more complete picture, but for now I think I've done as much as I'm going to do down here. I'm now going to move up to that and try start sorting those out and seeing if we can get them looking a little cleaner as well. So yeah, doing that relatively small area there, bearing in mind I've been using a pump sprayer as well, I've already managed to get through that tank quite remarkably. So I'm going to fill this up. I might go up a bit on my detergent past the considerably past the recommended levels and just see if that helps or not. In fact, I've got the Bissell stuff sat there, so maybe I'll give that a go, just see what happens. Okay, so after that little experiment, I'm going to go ahead and say that I think the Bissell detergent has immediately made a case for itself, because that's come up way better with that little bit of work I was doing. Even though I didn't use the brushes, that's came up way better than this did, to the point where I may even revisit this with the Bissell detergent in a minute. But that bit's pretty nasty and gnarly there, especially that patch in the middle you can see. So like I said, we're going to swap over that side now and see how that looks. Okay, I think I'm going to concede that the initial problems I had, with this were to do with the detergent, because it's hit that absolutely lovely. Just in case you wanted to have a look at how truly grim the water is that's coming out of that. Yeah, I mean, wow. Like I say, I think that Bissell detergent's making a hell of a difference. What I'm going to do, because down here is still a little bit mucky, I'm going to have another go down here and just see if I can get this end bit a little bit better, because I think there's a better finish in this. Okay, so like I say, this is after a bit of time having a second pass over it. And like I say, I think that Bissell detergent has made an absolutely massive difference. Like I say, I was quite underwhelmed really with the initial results, but I think it really is. I guess ultimately, I suppose that what you're using to sort of agitate the dirt is just as important as the machine itself. So if you're not using something, a decent detergent, I mean, to be fair, I thought that other stuff was, but it's clearly nowhere near as effective as the stuff that was shipped with it. So yeah, I'm quite impressed with that. I'm not going crazy today in terms of areas. You know, I could start doing the sort of like the boot sides and stuff. I might hit them with the less powerful detergent because they're nowhere near as dirty. What I want to do for now, I think, is concentrate on the really grubby bits. So we'll move on now to the first row passenger carpets, because they're particularly grim. Here we go. So that's just how the rear carpet looks before we start tackling this. Tackling, that's a word I've just made up, isn't it? More yummy carpet water. Yeah, while that's definitely looking better, I think the rear has obviously had no mats in for a very long time. And like I say, it doesn't seem to matter how much water you put on them, dirty water continues to come out of the carpets. But that's a big improvement, and I think if we aim for big improvement today, that's probably our best bet. So I'm now going to move onwards to the front. We'll do the passenger side first, and then hopefully we've got enough detergent left to at least have an initial go at the driver's footwell. I mean, the driver's footwell's always the worst. Really, I should have done that first. But yeah, it's looking a lot better than it was, but it's certainly not perfect. But anyway, let's get on and do that front one over there. Okay, so that's definitely looking better, although there's no denying, and I keep finding patches of carpet like this, to be honest with you, where the mud just seems to perpetually keep coming out of them. I'm going to move on to the driver's footwell now. Like I say, everywhere has shown a big improvement, which is what I'm after at this stage. I still maintain what I said. I think really the best way to do a job like this would have been to completely remove all the seats. Access to the carpets would be so much easier, and I think you'd get better results. And certainly when I wind up doing this on the other vehicle, the other XC90 that's on the way, I think that's almost definitely the approach I will take. But anyway, enough waffle. Like I say, I think it looks loads better than it did. Let's move on. Let's do the true horror, the driver's side footwell. And this is just a general look round after I've done that pass, and I think things do look a hell of a lot better than they did. Certainly not perfect, and like I say, you can still see a patch down there that's not great, that I reckon a little bit more time with the Bissell would probably sort out. And to be honest with you, I think that's more than likely what I will do off camera, is I will put some more time into going through the car and just sorting all of that out. But yeah, it looks a hell of a lot better than it did, especially the tailgate. I think the tailgate carpet is is 1,000,000% better than where we started. Apologies, by the way, for the camera and the sound. Unfortunately, I was going to record this outro using my GoPro and my Rode wireless receiver has just packed up quite frustratingly, so I've stuck it back on charge to see if I can make it behave, but that's going to cause me a bit of a problem if I want to do a Rustival report next week. So we might be buying new camera gear. So yeah, that'll be both annoying and exciting, I would say, if that's what winds up happening with that. Anyway, I think I'm going to wrap this one up here. Like I say, definitely convinced about the Bissell cleaner that I've bought. Like I say, but I do think the main conclusion I can draw from this, looking back at that very first bit and how ineffective it seemed to be, is that detergent is everything. So it's all well and good having a decent machine and even brushes and drills and that sort of thing, but if you aren't working with a good detergent to start with, you're going to spend far more time than you need to do trying to do this sort of thing. Anyway, that's it for now. Thank you very much for watching. Please do consider subscribing before you go, and I'll see you in a future video. Cheerio.